Hey, this is Rich over at TVP Live with another quick tips tutorial brought to you by Adobe Photoshop Elements Tutorials Group, and let's jump right in. Today's tutorial is on this photo. This is absolutely wonderful. You know what? I've been looking at it and trying to figure out how this was done. It's very, very, very well, and I'm completely stumped. But I'll take a little crack at it. So I brought in a model. This is my friend Tully Jensen. She is a model. And we're going to first fix and to at least get a similar size. And in doing that, I'm just going to get rid of some of the photo that we don't want. And since we'll have some flowers here, I don't have to worry about the letters up here. But I am going to cut with an eraser the edges. So I'm going to get a small little soft brush. Actually, I can probably do 15 point. And I'm just going to cut with an eraser and try to cut out all of the areas of white beyond what I want to use. And once I'm done, all I have to do is take my polygon tool and just basically cut around the exact same area that I erased. In between, get rid of that portion, and then we'll zoom in and get rid of this right portion. We'll zoom out and get rid of the right portion. So now we got just the model. I'm going to make a copy of her now. In case we want to use the copy for parts that need to be either fixed or brought back. Let's bring in some of the wood. Here's the background wood. That looks pretty darn good. Let's see. We can go a little bigger around here like this. And we'll go ahead and cut this down to size to fit that wood underneath. And let's try to do some sort of effect with her. So I'm going to add an effect that's just kind of a see-through. So I'm going to go down to Styles and Visibility. And this first one here, it makes her a little bit see-through, which is good. So now we can sort of see the wood through, but still keeps the highlights, darker areas still easy to see. From there, let's go back to layers. Now we want this wood to kind of see through to the other piece of wood behind it, which is this one. So I'm going to add this layer beneath there, and I can turn on the top layer, and let's have some of it fade out so you can see what's behind it. So we can take the eraser. Let's get a big brush around 1500 points and do a little bit of erasing so we can see some of the boards underneath it, and that'll give us a little more texture. Next, I'm going to bring in her eyes again from the original because I like that. So I'm going to bring her up to the top like this, and let's erase everything else that we don't want and keep just the eyes. So I'll do, let's say, about 500 point, and I can literally erase everything else. I'm going to turn everything off so I see what I want to keep. I'm going to make a big circle around her. Right click, select inverse, hit delete, and I deleted everything but the highlights are effaced. Turn everything back on, and now I can take that layer and make any portion of opacity to make the highlights come out a little stronger. I can toggle this on and off, and you can see the difference. So we'll leave that at. Next, let's see some flowers. I got some this. Let's see how that looks. Drag that into original. Let's take the bottom here and we can turn it over to something like this. Make it a little bigger. Now we're covering up the portion of the magazine that we didn't want. And let's find what else. What happens if I drag this bird in and take the image, rotate it horizontally. So now we can just grab some of the edge here and turn it so you don't really even know that it's a bird. It's just some sort of splatter of something. I want to cut that into the picture, so boom. Delete the corners, and let's take that image and let's go ahead and soften it a little bit. Let's see, what else can we do to this? So maybe we want to bring in some more paint splat throughout, so I can bring this in here. Let's go ahead and turn this around. Rotate this horizontally so it's coming in from the side over here. Let's see if that's going to work here. We can always take those colors and soften them up a little bit. Let's see if these flowers here will work in the corner, and we'll kind of throw that in here and see what happens. From there to here, I can do a lasso tool to grab what I want to keep. Right click, select inverse, get rid of the rest of that. Let's turn this flower back on. We like that. Finally, we're going to cut off everything else unrelated to the actual photo. So now what we want to do at the end here is finally bring up these, accentuate these wood in between the wood slats where it's dark right there. So what we want to do is grab the wood again, bring it back in, and what we want to do is first accentuate dark ends. So I'm going to go to Filter, Adjustments, to down here to Threshold, and watch what happens to it. What it does is it'll completely make the black show up much darker and take everything else and make it pure white. And this will make it easier for us to kind of choose what we want. So I'm going to bring that right around there. Then grab the magic tool, 35%. And we just want to magic tool each section here. And as you can see, it's going to show through behind there and leave just those dark wood edges left over. And then hit delete. And that's pretty much it. Now we got to do is just soften that up by turning down the opacity so that it's not really strong, but just strong enough there to see those wood slats coming through. Finally, what we want to do is just take the eraser and erase portions that we want to go behind the flowers. So I'm going to take a 30-point eraser and just draw from here to here with the eraser and get rid of all the stuff that shouldn't be in front of the flowers. Finally, we'll take an eraser and grab a big gigantic brush and just soften up a little bit of the edges here. I don't want it to be too hot covering our foliage. Put this at 50%, and that's pretty much all there is to it. This is it for now. I suppose we got us semi-similar to the left one, and it looks pretty good. This is Rich calling it quits for this tutorial, saying over and out.